Bangkok market mass shooting, murder-suicide. The day began like any other in the bustling heart of Bangkok's Chatuchak Market district. The sun climbed steadily, casting golden light over the maze of colorful stalls. Vendors shouted greetings and promotions, their voices mixing with the chatter of shoppers. The aroma of sizzling satay skewers, spicy noodle soups, and sweet mango sticky rice wafted through the air, tempting every passerby. Motorbike taxis zipped past in their usual chaotic dance, weaving between crowds and weaving the market's endless pulse. It was Thursday, a weekday when the crowd was thinner than weekends, mostly local shoppers, elderly regulars, and workers sneaking in quick lunches between shifts. This ordinary afternoon would twist into something unthinkable. Within hours, this vibrant market, a place built on human chatter, bargaining laughter, and the clatter of coins, would be drowned in the echo of gunfire. But the story of what happened that day isn't just about the violence. It's about a man spiraling out of control, about red flags ignored, and about the chilling stillness that fell after the last shot was fired. The shooter nobody saw coming. His name was Prazert Key, a 42-year-old former shop owner in the market. To those who knew him, Prazert was a puzzle wrapped in silence. Quiet, but not shy. Sometimes he seemed elsewhere, always polite, but with this heaviness in his eyes. For nearly 8 years, Prazert had run a small electronics stall tucked in a quieter corner of Chatuchak. But in the months before the shooting, everything was falling apart. His sales dropped sharply. Larger retailers, cheaper online competitors, and changing consumer habits cut into his profits. Rent payments became sporadic. Behind the scenes, things were worse. A messy divorce drained his savings. His ex-wife moved away with their young daughter, cutting all contact. Friends said Prazert sank into heavy drinking. Sometimes he slept in his closed-up stall rather than returning to his empty apartment. The breaking point came just 2 weeks before the shooting. Market management repossessed his stall for unpaid rent. Witnesses recall a furious confrontation between Prazert and security guards that day. He shouted with desperation, "This place took everything from me. Everything." The day it happened, 1:37 p.m. Security cameras later pieced together Prazert's movements. He arrived at the market's south entrance wearing a faded baseball cap, a loose jacket, and carrying a plain black duffel bag. His gait was slow, almost measured, like he belonged there but was carrying a storm inside. No one noticed anything unusual. 1:42 p.m. He stopped at a noodle cart near the center of the market, bought a cold drink, and stood there for nearly 10 minutes watching people pass by, silent and still as the crowd bustled around him. 1:51 p.m. Prazert slipped into a quieter side aisle. Behind a stall selling phone cases, he unzipped the duffel bag. Inside lay a semi-automatic pistol, unregistered, and several magazines of ammunition. 1:53 p.m. The first gunshot cracked sharply through the market's cacophony. Shoppers froze, unsure if it was a firecracker or construction noise. But the second shot followed almost instantly, and screams erupted. The panic. The panic erupted instantly, spreading like wildfire through the crowded market. Chaos exploded in every direction. People scattered, overturning stalls, spilling merchandise into the aisles. Vendors ducked behind their tables or sprinted toward exits, desperate to find safety. But Prazert was methodical. He wasn't firing wildly into the crowd. Witnesses described him targeting specific people. Investigators later suggested his victims were chosen deliberately, some connected to the eviction that had pushed him over the edge. Survivors remembered the terrifying rhythm of the gunfire. Bang, pause, bang, bang, longer pause, bang. It wasn't the frantic spray of a madman. It was a chilling, deliberate pattern. Within 5 minutes, 6 people lay wounded. 4 were dead before paramedics even arrived. The air was thick with screams, cries for help, and the crushing weight of disbelief. In the chaos, moments stretched into eternity as people prayed for safety and tried to comprehend the horror unfolding before them. This wasn't a random act of violence, it was a calculated strike that shattered a community's sense of security forever. The standoff, 1:59 p.m. Police received the first emergency calls. A patrol car arrived within 3 minutes, but Prazert had already moved deeper into the market, toward a storage building where vendors kept their supplies. Officers ordered shoppers to evacuate and sealed off the area. Security footage showed Prazert pacing inside the dimly lit storage building, muttering to himself. Negotiators arrived, megaphones raised, voices sharp but pleading. "Prazert, put the weapon down. We can talk." But there was no response. He was beyond listening. The final act. 2:14 p.m. A single gunshot echoed from inside the storage building. Police waited, unsure if Prazert had fired at them or himself. Minutes later, a SWAT team breached the door. They found Prazert slumped against the wall, pistol still in his hand, a single bullet wound to his head. The black duffel bag lay at his feet. Inside, officers found more ammunition and a faded photograph of a young girl, his daughter. On the back of the photo, 2 words were scrawled in thick black marker: "I'm sorry. Aftermath and investigation." The Bangkok Police Department officially classified the incident as a murder-suicide fueled by personal and financial collapse. But as details emerged, the picture became more complicated. Vendors told investigators that Fraser had been increasingly erratic in the months leading up to the shooting. He spoke ominously about payback and making them listen. Yet no one saw him as a violent threat. Some claimed to have seen him carrying a gun weeks earlier. Others dismissed it as bluffing or desperation. Investigators confirmed the pistol was illegally purchased through an unlicensed dealer on the outskirts of the city. No paperwork, no background check, no questions asked. The victims of the shooting were more than just names. They were lives abruptly shattered, each with a story and a place in their community. Somchayar, 58, was a beloved fruit vendor known for his warm smile and generous spirit. For years, he had run his stall across from Fraser's, becoming a familiar and comforting presence in the neighborhood. Maylin T, 34, was a devoted mother of 2 and a clothing seller who bravely tried to intervene when the chaos erupted, putting others before herself in those terrifying moments. Then there was Thanakorn J, only 27, a delivery worker who found himself tragically caught in the crossfire while simply passing through the bustling market, a victim of circumstance and fate. Lastly, Ananya P, a 19-year-old part-time student working at a souvenir stall, was just beginning her journey in life, her future full of promise cruelly cut short. Each life lost leaves a ripple of grief, a reminder of the human cost behind the headlines. Their funerals drew hundreds from the community. For days, the market entrance became an impromptu memorial. Candles flickered in the evening breeze, prayers whispered, flowers piled high. The market today? Months later, Chatuchak Market reopened with a changed atmosphere. New security measures were in place, bag checks, metal detectors, uniformed police patrols weaving through the stalls. But the lively spirit had dimmed. Vendors flinched at sudden loud noises. Some relocated their stalls far from the shooting site. One stall owner summed up the collective unease. "We used to worry about thieves. Now we worry about not coming home." The market, once a symbol of community and life, now bore the invisible scars of fear. The chilling lessons. This tragedy left Bangkok grappling with haunting questions. How many warning signs are ignored before a man snaps? Could mental health intervention have rewritten this story? In a city where illegal weapons are frighteningly easy to obtain, can any public space ever feel truly safe? The silence that remains. The most disturbing detail isn't the gunfire itself. It's what came after. When the last shot faded, an unnatural silence blanketed the market, one of the noisiest, busiest places on earth. No bargaining voices, no clinking coins. Just the soft rustle of canvas stall covers swing in the afternoon breeze. And the heartbreaking knowledge that a familiar face had become a killer in plain sight among neighbors. If you found this video compelling, please like, hit the bell, and share this video. Because stories like this must be told, to remember the victims, to honor those who survived, and to learn from the shadows that can lurk just beneath the surface of everyday life.